I don't know if it started or not. I hear. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second part of our Retrouv'I New Year, New You Summit. First part was like about releasing 2021, and we talked about self-esteem, nutrition, spirituality, and mindfulness. Today, we're going into welcoming 2022, and we're going to talk about relationships, fitness, imagination and creativity, and career. So, welcome everybody. Here are your beautiful coaches, Monica, Joanna, Margot. Tina is not here with us, but we're thinking we're thinking of her, and myself, Celine. And we're going to talk about these different topics today. We are all like to give you a bit of background. We are all certified coaches from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and we also have all like different additional like tools and skills in our toolbox that makes our approaches a bit like having a common ground, but having slightly different approaches. And I would let each coach introduce themselves first. So, like Joanna, if you want to start.
Yeah, hi. My name is Joanna. I'm based in Los Angeles, and I am a somatic experiencing practitioner and also a sound healer. So I work a lot with embodiment and coming into your authenticity and leadership.
Thank you. And we have Margot.
Hi, everybody. I'm Margot. I am based in Maui, Hawaii. I focus on helping people disconnect from technology and redefine their relationship with technology so that they can build personal connections with confidence.
Great. And we also have Monica.
Hi there, my name is Monica and I am based in Rome, Italy. Although I'm currently in Miami, I focus on helping women improve their health and reinvigorate their lives through proper nutrition, exercising, and rest.
And there is me. So I'm Celine, and I'm the founder of Retrouv'I, and I'm working on like more nutrition. I do like chakras and crystal healing as well, and Reiki, and I'm focusing on helping busy people bringing more well-being into their lives. And just to give you an idea of how we approach well-being, so we have a holistic approach that combines different areas of your life, and that we like split into heart, body, mind, and soul. So it's not only like the nutrition and the fitness, it's also like the career, the spirituality, the mindfulness, the environment, the education. So we're really like taking a holistic approach with like very different areas, and that's what differentiate, I would say, like health coaches than like really specific coaches, because we're really looking at the overall spectrum. And we're gonna start right now talking about relationship with Margot.
Hello. Yes, relationships. I am super excited to talk about relationships today. For me, this is a big goal for 2022, is to cultivate community, build strong relationships, because I have seen in my own life how powerful connection is and how it can affect my own well-being. So there's so much to say about relationships, the different types, the ways of communicating, sharing, showing love. This is such powerful stuff. And humans are super complex. Therefore, a connection to each other can be heavily evaluated and discussed. Today, I want to focus on the importance of relationships and community as you all begin to set goals for 2022. And it's definitely been an interesting past couple of years between COVID, but also this dependence on technology So it's important to bring us back to this focus of community and other people, because it is really important for your health. And the blue zone centenarians, who are the healthiest, longest living people in the world, the findings of studying these groups of people have found they all have strong social connections. And these connections and communities help them find a sense of purpose. Next slide, please. So the Institute of Integrative Nutrition says relationships are the cornerstone of life and speak to our ability to love and relate to other human beings. They are food for the soul, and they say that it is the most important area of primary food. So if your relationships are not where they should be, it can deeply affect your health. Next slide, please. So these are 4 points and food for thought about relationships. So the first point comes from Sarah Kubrick, who is she's the millennial therapist on Instagram, but she's has a history of working with people and millennials, and kind of she notes this change in society of how we're now more dependent on tech. So she says community is how we survived everything up until this point. And it is tempting to lose sight of this in a tech world focus where we can feel that we can do everything on our own because we have our phones that can essentially do so much that you don't really need people for. But there's also this automated ATMs, so many different things that we used to be interacting with people that we don't anymore. So the response to this new tech focus is we cannot. Life is too difficult to do alone. We have a basic human need for connection, and in fact, there are certain hormones, specifically oxytocin, that's released through shared hardship and also through kissing and hugging loved ones. It's something that bonds us, and that's a really important reaction that's happening inside of our body. It's a theory that have been shared before. That's before taking a new supplement to try to heal something in your body, try 3 to 4 hugs a day, see how you feel, and then see if you still need that supplement. So yeah, relationships are incredibly important for our health, and this is why you may have heard loneliness is an epidemic. Bernie Siegel, who is a retired pediatric surgeon, says that loneliness affects the genes, which then affects the immune system. And relationships and connections are what keeps us alive. So they give you self-worth, self-esteem, and he says, and we spoke about this last week, but we are all one. I mean, not last week, last summit. We are all one. We have the same hearts, the same insides. And then when Bernie was asked, why are we all different on the outside? And he says, so you can tell who the hell we are. So basically, this idea of oneness and shared experience and connection is so powerful. And it is not about you versus me. It's we are one and together. The third point of food for thought is talking to strangers brings us genuine joy. Dr. Laurie Santos, who teaches the science of well-being at Yale University, notes that every available survey suggests happy people are more social. She recommends being other-focused, and this will increase your well-being. So this could mean volunteering. This could mean donating to a charity, giving a nice tip. This all increases our level of happiness when we are other-focused. Another thing, as I said, is introduce yourself to a stranger, whether that is introducing yourself to a stranger brings us happiness. So whether that's the barista or someone on the street, I know COVID's makes it a little more difficult sometimes, but there's still ways to do it. You can wave, smile behind your mask, people can tell. And yeah, that's an immediate way to bring joy is introduce or talking to strangers. But yeah, I'm sure you might be able to think of your own life about an impromptu interaction that you've had in your life and where that has led. It's pretty incredible to think about how how those these interactions can bring us happiness, joy, and honestly incredible experiences. And then the last point is the most important relationship is with yourself. So taking care of yourself and your feelings will allow you to have healthy relationships with other people. You may have heard you need to fill your own cup before you can give it to others. So yeah, the oxygen mask is a good example of in an airplane, they say put yours on so that you can help others. It's the same type of thing with your own relationship. Make sure this relationship with yourself is strong and healthy, and then you can share that with others. Next slide, please. So here are just 2 simple exercises to cultivate community and increase happiness that I suggest you all do. The first one is think of someone who you want to spend more time with in 2022. All right, I have mine. I hope you have yours. If you have a pen and paper, write their name down. And I recommend letting them know. And I challenge you to let them know by the end of the day. So send them a text, give them a call, or maybe write them a letter if you're feeling extra, or if that's your method of communication. I think that's a really wonderful, thoughtful way too. And I recommend doing this by the end of the day to get you started for 2022 off on the right foot. And then the other exercise is smile or say hello to someone new. And whether that's today, I know it's evening where some of you are calling from, but or in from, but maybe tomorrow, just say hello and see what happens. And worst case, they don't say hello back. That is the absolute worst case. But best case, it can lead to something incredibly beautiful. And I highly recommend. And you know, people will generally respond positively to it. Yeah. And last but not least, we can't forget our furry friends. I have a furry friend somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where she went. So I would show her to you, but I think she might be out playing. So anyway, think of your furry friends. It's also a very important relationship, and the oxytocin's also released between those relationships. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a great 2022, start of 2022, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Margot. That's really interesting, and I will, definitely try the things that you mentioned.
Yay!
And now we're going into fitness and body with Monica.
Hi, thank you so much, Margot. I would definitely hug my dog a little bit longer today. So yeah, let's talk about fitness. Imagine yourself jumping the summit. 2022 is here. Can I see the next slide, please? So we have a way to define fitness is as a condition of being physically fit and healthy. And most importantly, is a state of health and well-being that allows us the ability to perform aspects like walking and sleeping and moving. And a lot of times we take fitness for granted, right? Being fit is not necessarily just physically fit. When we talk about being fit, the overall wellness idea is being physically fit, being mentally fit, and being even spiritually fit. So you can think about all encompassing, right? Let's focus on the physiological aspects of fitness for a moment, right? And we talk about 4 main areas of physical fitness, like endurance, strength, balance, and flexibility. And can I look at the next slide, please? So when you think about being physically fit, you think about these 4 areas. I mean, we can just look at many more, but let's try to summarize it for this purpose. And when it comes to endurance, we think about aerobics as they increase our heart rate and our breathing. And to perform this activity, you can do brisk walking, running, swimming, anything you can think of, including dancing. Anything that brings your heart rate up is going to help you increase your endurance. And throughout this pandemic, we have seen that a lot of people have been severely affected, and the lungs are one of the main organs that are affected. And you will see that someone's breathing becomes very hard, or like, for instance, you start walking up the stairs and your breathing becomes shorter. So it's definitely important to focus on improving our endurance. And studies have shown that it is helpful for us to work out 5 times a week, just 30 minutes. I know the majority of us don't do that. I'm guilty of that as well at times. Strength is another area of fitness that is incredibly important, and it helps us to keep our muscles strong. What is a good way to do this, to increase our strength, is by strength training, right? So we can lift weights, we can start training twice a week, and it doesn't have to be something super complicated. It can be something as easy as doing push-ups. Use your own body weight. You can do a routine of, say, maybe 30 minutes. There are endless videos on YouTube that we can use. I particularly like to subscribe to an application called Peloton. They have a bike, but you don't need to have their bike. You could just use your own bike, or you can use your own body weight. You can do lots of exercises from the comfort of your own home, and they have lots of videos in a very organized manner, and you can do any kind of exercise that you want. So when we're talking about strength training, we want to make sure that we exercise all the major muscle groups in our body. We train maybe twice a week, and we don't train each muscle group, say, the same, on 2 continuous days. You want to leave a few days in between working out some major muscle groups and others. Like, for instance, say you decide that you want to work out, do some weight strength training twice a week. You want to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, perhaps on Tuesday you can focus on your lower body, and then on Thursdays you can do your upper body, right? Or if you really are just starting, maybe you can do a little circuit in which you do maybe once a week, and you do full body circuit training, 30 minutes. You do maybe 10 exercises, 10 reps of each exercise, and then you move from there. So there's lots of resources out there to help you increase your strength. Then balance. Balance is something that we usually take for granted when we are younger, just because we really, as we start walking, we start learning to gain our balance, right? And then as we age, our balance tends to lose a little bit more. But really, balance helps prevent falls in both young and older individuals. Say, for instance, you have a knee ache, or you're having issues, I don't know, with vertigo or something like that, you will really notice what it's like to have balance. So to help with balance, you can try standing on one foot. I recommend trying one foot and then the other back to back to see what the difference is. This is usually, I guess, illustrated when we're doing yoga, right? And we're trying to do some exercises, maybe a tree pose, and you have a little bit more balance on one foot versus the other. So I challenge you to try that. And you can do maybe Tai Chi, and try to do a little bit of yoga. I recommend maybe a yoga workout at least once a week to help with balance and that. And then as far as flexibility, when we think of flexibility, we have seen that as we age, we tend to lose flexibility, and it's really impacted by our activity and lack thereof. When we're doing whether it's an endurance activity like running, or we're doing a strength training, it's important to stretch after. Because what could happen is that lactic acid accumulates in your body and it makes your muscles much tighter. So I don't want to go into the whole science of this, but just focus on stretching maybe 5 to 10 minutes after every workout, and you will see a big difference. And it just really helps, if you want to kneel down to pick up something from the floor, and then as you're starting to get up and you feel some pain, maybe it's a sign that you need to do a little bit more stretching throughout the day. Can I see the next slide, please? So food for thought. I like to include these just so that we can think about what you would like to improve this year, right? It's 2022, it's January. I don't know about you, but I always have New Year's resolutions, and studies have shown that by the first 3 weeks of the year, everyone's resolutions have already gone out the window, right? So what's important is that you start small and you start slow, and you incorporate changes into your life that are made sustainable, right? So let's think about something. What happens to your brain when you work out? Have you noticed that every time that you work out, you feel much happier? Our bodies release endorphins, which are chemicals that interact with the receptors in our brain and reduce the perception of pain. You can think of endorphins as the ones that are responsible for the happy feelings of after a workout. And you can think of runner's high, right? After a run, everyone feels slightly euphoric, and it is the chemicals inside our brain that are causing this. Think about the fact that you never regret a workout, right? Nobody's ever said, oh, I wish I didn't work out today. That's something that has never occurred. Think about exercise as an antidepressant, right? I like to say that mood follows movement. We can see that Webb and Lee states that the research has shown that exercise is an effective but often underused treatment for mild to moderate depression. Group exercise classes and outdoor activities can foster a sense of support and community. Plus, it can help boost your levels of vitamin D, right? I know with the current pandemic, not everyone can go outdoors, but if you're being careful, depending on the area of the world in which you live in, you can always get a little walk in and get some vitamin D from the sun. Make sure that if possible, you can spend time with your family and friends. As Margot was talking about relationships, how important it is to have a sense of community. It's really important to interact with our loved ones, particularly, and say that you can't do it physically together. How about a Zoom class where you work out together? That did very well, at least in the beginning part of the pandemic. And I was doing some of those group classes as well. And what exercises do you enjoy? In order for you to be successful and incorporate exercise and fitness into your life on a sustainable basis, you need to do something that you really love. So what do you love? Do you like running? Do you like walking? Do you like dancing? Maybe you like Zumba. Think about the activities that really bring you joy and focus on incorporating those into your life. And then last but not least, schedule in your movement. Just as you schedule in your work, and there's no doubt that you will complete your work, what about your exercise routine? What about your workout? And do you feel more joy working out first thing in the morning, or maybe in the middle of the day as you take a break for lunch, but before you eat lunch, you do maybe a 20-minute workout, or the evenings? Have you considered when you feel best? So food for thought is, one, try working out at different times of the day and try journaling about how you feel afterwards. I mean, research shows that it's best to work out first thing in the morning. You are committed to your workout. You do it first thing in the morning. You have a ritual where you maybe do some meditation, If you do some yoga or you do any other kind of workout, 20 to 30 minutes. And then you can go on with your day. Or maybe that's too complicated and you want to do it at another time. So figure out what works best for you. Okay, can I see the next slide? Yes, thank you. So what could you do to improve your fitness? I want to mention a book. It's by Jeff Olson, and it's The Slight Edge. And this book talks mostly about habits and building habits, right? So think about the things that you can do. Think about how creating habits is mostly about making small little changes that are possible. So the main concept of the book is the compound change that one positive action can create. So doing 10 minutes of a workout is easy to do, and it's easy not to do. So do it. If you don't want to run, you don't want to do something else, think about how even a small action done consistently can have an incredible impact in your life throughout your entire life. So I know a lot of people don't always like to exercise, and they have resistance and they think of the negatives. I personally love it, but there are days that I feel tired and I don't want to do it. But focus on having a daily dose of movement. So instead of thinking, oh, I have to work out, I have to do something super strenuous, it doesn't have to be. It could be just a small walk. So rephrase the idea that it's a must. It's a, I get to work out. So have the mindset of incorporating a daily dose of movement, and you will see how this helps you in the long run. You can do a short walk or yoga practice, and something small, like I said, it's better than nothing. Another good idea to improve your fitness is to sign up for an event that you enjoy. I recently signed up for a marathon, and quite honestly, I've only run half marathons up to this point, and I don't care, or it's not as important for me to run the entire event as it is to participate and to challenge myself. So I'm happy even if I run half of the marathon and walk the other half. But the most important thing for me is that it provides me motivation and support for every single day up until that day, right? That I know that I'm challenging myself and that I know that I'm doing something positive for my body. And I'm in the right mindset of, oh, let's see what my body is capable of doing. And along those lines, and something that's not often mentioned, is that once you start exercising, then you immediately want to feed your body better food, because you realize that food is fuel and your body needs it to perform better. And, another item I listed is dance to one song per day. You say, I didn't have time to work out today. Just put your favorite song on and then dance to it. Other thing is, you can indulge in buying a cute workout outfit. And like I mentioned, food is fuel. You can practice 80-20. And so what does this mean? Without getting into the nutrition aspect that Selena already mentioned last time. You can practice eating healthy, mostly plant-based, whole foods, unprocessed foods 80% of the time, and then indulge 20% of the time. And you will see how your body feels. And last but not least, get a good night's sleep. This is paramount. We all are severely underslept and need to really focus on getting more sleep. It will help every aspect of our lives. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monica. And yeah, I like the tip about dancing to one song per day. That's an easy one to do, and easy and fun, and you can do it with the whole family. So if you only take one like movement, like that's an easy and cool one to do.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, let's go with onto creativity now. So I'm gonna start with this picture. So take a few seconds. I don't know if you saw that one already in social media, but look at this picture and like tell me what you see. Like what you see and like what it makes you think of, or
A boat in the ocean, yacht,
yeah.
down beach.
Kind of looks like I know it's a boat, but it looks like a rocket ship a little bit. It's floating into space.
A rocket ship, okay. Or like yeah, it makes you think about holidays and going on a trip, or well, actually I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's actually a hole in a sofa.
No way.
It is, yeah, it is. But
That's
you see
hilarious.
like how when you see something, how quickly like our imagination kicks in, and then like we become really creative, and how thoughts can go and imagine a lot of things from something as random as a hole in a sofa. So to start with, I'm gonna start with like these two quotes. So the first one is, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. And the second is, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So we'll talk a lot about imagination and creativity, but we don't really always know what it is and where it's coming into the process of, and how the process of creativity comes in. And actually, there's a lot of talks around that process, around that creativity process, and around like this mindset that you need to be into creativity. I was actually reading an article this morning where like the journalist was talking about his own creativity blocks, and the fact that he believes that to be able to write, he needs to be in a certain environment and a certain mindset. Or like it was going also further, talking about athletes where like they need to be like to do a certain thing when they train, when they like warm up, sorry, and if they don't, it puts them into like a bad mood for their game, and then like they're not in the mindset of winning. So how like having this mindset first helps you with the creative process. And that brings to like the process that goes from imagination, which is the ability to imagine that's something that may or may not exist, to creativity, which is the ability to use this imagination to create something. And that something you create can be like in your life, your relationship, work, a project, a song, a painting. It can be whatever you want. But it all starts from imagination, and then with creativity, you create, you put it together to make it come true. So here are a few things that you can think about to see how you are with your this relationship between imagination and creativity, and how you can start thinking about the things that you want, and start visualizing them, start thinking of them like in a more detailed manner, so like they become more real to you. Because whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. So which means that what you can think of that can be true, you can then realize it. But sometimes we always like block ourselves. We think that Monica was talking about self-esteem last time, and sometimes our worst enemies ourselves, because we want things, but then we think we're not able to do them. So before starting to want things or to like go for the things, we need to accept that we can achieve them and we can become this person that has those things before getting them, and that's the way to get them. And there are some examples of actors who saw themselves winning an Oscar, and then a few years later they won the Oscar and they could see themselves clearly, like giving the speech to like thank the people, and that's really like put them in the mindset of someone who already has an Oscar. And that's the whole idea of creativity and imagination. You need to create yourself as the person who has already what you want to have. And we were just talking about fitness. And if you think of yourself of someone who doesn't exercise or someone who doesn't uh, like to run, or it's more difficult to like wake up in the morning and do your workout. Whereas if you think of yourself as someone who likes to work out, even if it's just fake it till you make it, but at least like thinking that, no, I'm a person who likes to work out, so I'm going to work out every morning. That really helps you. And then like this reality that you want becomes like the real reality, and it really helps you like move forward. So just a few questions. So if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? So you can write down the first 5 things that comes to your mind without thinking. And then, how is your perfect day at work? Like if you imagine this perfect day, what work would you do? Like who are your colleagues? Who are your clients? How do you feel going through your day? Like, so really like imagine that day, like what you would do, what you would talk about. Same with your perfect day at home. Like, how do you interact with your partner, with your kids, your family, your friends? What are you talking about? Where do you live? How is your interior design? How are your furniture? How does it smell? So try to really use all your senses to really like feel like you're already in the place of your dream, that you're already living the life of your dream. How does it look? And then like think about yourself and who do you want to be? And again, like, do you want to be the person who exercise every day, or do you want, or not? Do you want to be like successful, or like have like a good have confidence, or do you see yourself as like depressed and anxious? How is your attitude towards life? Do you have like a positive attitude, or do you see the glass half empty or half full? What do you wear as well? Like, do you that's also something for, I know, like for women, when I know that when I go to like a meeting for work, an important meeting, I like to like dress up, to have like my heels, my nails done, to look like a certain way, because that give me confidence, and that makes me feel like I'm a like powerful and successful businesswoman, and I'm gonna smash this meeting. So like it's little triggers, it's little triggers and little tools and things that helps you feel like you are the person you want to be. Like when I go to a meeting with clients, I want them to see that they can trust me, that I'm a professional, and that they will want to work with me. If I come there like not feeling good about myself and not feeling confident that I can deliver what they want from me, then they're not gonna want to trust me, and that's already like setting myself for failure. So you really want to be in that mindset of winning, of like having being able to deliver what you want to deliver. And then, so once you have like these things figured out, what step can you take to turn these ideas, like these things that you imagine, into facts? So how do you create, and that's where the creativity comes in, how do you create this world that you imagine? How do you improve your relationship so it reflects the ideal relationship you have in mind? How do you improve your home, your outfits? Like maybe you need to change a bit your wardrobe. Maybe you need to change what you have in your fridge to become healthier and have like better food. So what are the things and steps that you can do to get this image that you want for yourself and for your life? And once you work towards that image, it's also easier to make the shift, because sometimes like the wheel alone is not enough. So you need triggers, you need help. And Margot was talking about the importance of relationships and like that you can't do things alone. And that's also where having a support systems comes into place, and having like a community or having some accountability partners and telling them, well, this month or this quarter, I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna make me accountable. So you're gonna help me and support me to reach what I want to do. So how to boost your imagination and your creativity? So here are a few tools. So for the imagination part, because imagination is only limited by ourselves, right? So if today I want to, I live with my grandparents and I want to imagine me living in a beach house in Costa Rica, I can do that. And then I can see like how to make that a reality. So it's not because your current situation today is a certain way. That doesn't mean that you need to limit yourself and limit your imagination towards what you want. There's always some ways then to get there. So first, get inspired. How do you get inspired? So pay attention to what you see, what you feel, smell, touch, and see how you react also to your environment. Take time to be bored. That's something we don't do enough. Margot was talking about digital detox and the fact that we're overwhelmed all the time. It's good sometimes to just be bored, because that's where creative imagination kicks in, and that's where you can spend time with yourself and take the time to wander and see what you want. Journaling, meditating, singing, painting, playing an instrument, dancing, like these are all ways also that you can stimulate your imagination. And then to translate this imagination in creativity. What you can do is to connect with yourself and what you truly want. What makes your heart beat? What brings you joy? So once you have imagined all these beautiful things, try to pay attention to how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel scared? Like be like in tune with your body and see like what signs it gives you. Sometimes when you have to make a decision and you're wondering which direction to take, your body is giving you the answer. You have this like gut feeling. So try to trust that, and that will help you like know which direction you want to go. Come up with action steps and goals to get you close to realizing what you want, professionally and personally. You can have like some big goals and then have like some like base camp goals to get there. So you're not scared about the big goal, but if you have like a big goal for the year, try to break it down into like achievable steps. So at least you see that every week or every month you can see the improvements that you're making, and it's getting you closer and closer to your goals. And one thing that's really helpful as well is to get organized and be aware of your priorities. And by that, I mean that your goal should be going closer to your goal should be one of your priority. And sometimes what happens is that my priority is not always the other person's priority, or like, especially when you're in a work environment, my goal for my job might not be the number one priority for someone else, but I need that someone else to reach my goal. So trying to manage expectations also from others and towards others, because in the other way around, maybe like this person has like wants me to help you for their goal, but it is not my priority. So trying to like prioritize things and to like stick with it, and then be specific and clear about your vision and visualize it and believe in it. You really need to believe in you and believe that it's gonna be possible. And of course, like maybe I'm not gonna dream of being an astronaut because it's probably not gonna happen, but that's okay. I don't want to be an astronaut anyway. And also know that not everyone has the same goals. Not everyone wants to be Mother Teresa. Not everyone wants to be a billionaire or like drive a Ferrari, and that's okay. You don't have to have like that kind of goal. Like your goal can be to like have a happy family and live in a nice little house in the countryside near your family. That's a really cool goal. So you don't like, a lot of time we follow like social media and what's displayed, and we want things that we think we want, but actually we don't. That's not what matters to us. So be true to what matters to you. And I think Joanna is gonna dig in a bit deeper into that, and then turn your dreams into reality. And I hope that this year you can set up some nice goal for yourself, and that by the end of the year, when you will look back from the goals that you set up at the beginning, like this month, you can say, hey, like I managed to like tick a few boxes and I reached a few goals. So that's all I wish you this year. Thank you. And now we're going to with Joanna about career.
Yeah, thank you, Celine. That was so great. And thank you, Monica and Margot, for your beautiful presentations. I think these are all really important topics to be having in mind in the new year. And also, they all really intersect and influence each other. So, having that holistic perspective on all of them really will just make everything so much stronger. And yeah, I'm Joanna. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And we're talking about career in our little last section of this summit. And I wanted to just start off with a quote from Brené Brown, who, if you don't know, is a really powerful speaker and writer, and really, I think, inspires a lot of people. Yeah, she's great. Really has a lot of great thoughts on how to inspire people, especially in leadership, and having courage to pursue your goals, whatever they may be. And I really love this analogy that she makes about our values and them being our guiding light and our lantern. And we'll jump back into that, but just to get you kind of thinking about that. So just looking back on the last 2 years, I'm sure you've noticed a lot has changed. There's been really dramatic shifts and also a lot of acceleration in different fields, especially in what's happening in technology. And you may be sitting there wondering if the path that you're on is still the most aligned for you, or if it might be time to reorient. And disclaimer, you are not your job and your job is not you, just to make that clear. We want to talk about career more as something that is a piece that really fits into your overall idea of who you want to be and what you want to bring into the world and what you represent. So this isn't just about, competing to climb the corporate ladder or seeing how much money or promotions you can have. really want to just think about career as an extension of who you are and having work that brings you joy and meaning into your life. And if you're here, you probably, have had some thoughts about what you want your career to be. Maybe you have been finding your career unfulfilling and don't know what to do next. Maybe you love your career but want to take it to the next level or want to do more. Maybe you're thinking about transitioning careers, which a lot of us have been doing over the past couple of years, including me. And I'm sure if you've ever been in a job that just wasn't making you happy, as I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, that Sunday night dread where, like clockwork, you just feel this terrible, terrible kind of heaviness, knowing that you have another full upcoming work week and having to go into Monday doing something that's not making you very happy. And you just end up spending the weekend kind of worrying about what you're going to have to do during the week. And so you never really end up escaping that when you have a job that's not really fulfilling for you. And a lot of people, on top of that, a lot of people fall into their first careers without a lot of deliberation or thought. Maybe you did it because you thought it would please somebody else, like your parents. Maybe you have to stick with it because it pays the bills. But if you look back to when you were a child, you might be able to remember something that you had a natural inclination towards. But when you started going to school and became an adult, you may have been more influenced by seeing what other people are doing, what your parents or teachers thought you should do, or even what kind of income you thought you needed for a certain standard of living. And really, our sense of self is based in our verdicts in childhood about ourselves in regards to our sense of power, our sense of competence, and our sense of worthiness. But this year, I really encourage you to start shedding that and start shedding the shoulds and start moving in a direction of more conscious choices, especially with our work. And work can really be a way of being, it can be a way of self-expression, of commitment to our community and our environment, and bringing more mindfulness to our lives. And next slide, please. And you may or may not have heard of this concept before of ikigai. According to Japanese culture, we all have an ikigai, which is a path to life fulfillment or a reason for being. And if you can see there's 4 different compartments, and maybe you can pinpoint which part of this chart you might be at. What we want to do is land in the middle, but you might be kind of on the outskirts, or you might be you might be close to it, but not quite there. But just see if you can identify where you might be in this framework. And so according to Ikigai, it's a union of 4 fundamental components of life, which are passion, vocation, profession, and mission. And these components become your compass. It's so much more than just thinking of it as a career. So if Ikigai is our compass, then you might want to have a lantern to help guide the way. And you can go to the next slide, please. So thinking of having a lantern to help you get to your Ikigai, so you can see the direction in which you want to go. One really good way to do that, according to Brene, is that we should really be thinking and reevaluating our values as we move through life, because these can change, these can grow, transform as we grow as people. And So the lantern was really her analogy, which I love to describe what values can be like in your life. And when our work doesn't align with our values, that's when we can fall out of harmony or feel like there's something off. So this is just a list of some values to get you thinking. There can be more. There's a lot more. One's not on this list. But I invite you to take a moment and see if you can pick 3 values from this list that are the most important to you. And you can write it in the chat. You can think it to yourself. But see if you can really narrow it down. It might be hard. It's hard to narrow it down, but the more we try to narrow it down, the more it kind of forces us to clarify our values, which is what we want, which helps us lead us in the right direction. And then, yeah, those are beautiful, Celine. Love, kindness, courage. I mean, there's really no wrong answer. These are all really beautiful. It's just going to be what's unique to you and what you decide that is going to be most important in your life. Yeah, Margot, love, wellness, fun. Okay, and you can go to the last slide, I believe. So here's all our lanterns. And wait, do we have one more? Yeah, Monica, family, love, learning. Those are all beautiful. So defining our values is just the start of helping us find our way and get into alignment with what's important to us and what we really want to spend our time doing. And if you think of it as a lantern, this is what really guides us when you get stuck or you find yourself debating what you should do if you're not sure. You can just think back to the values that you chose from your list and just ask yourself when you're debating the questions, when you're looking at your choices of what you should do, which ones match up most with your value, which ones are contributing to those, which ones are in alignment. And ultimately, once we find these things, or once we decide what our values are and start aligning our choices to those values and how we're living, then we're getting that much closer to realizing our true potential and finding really what's possible and what's your unique magic. So there's a lot more, but that's all I will leave you with today to just start thinking about in your career and in all the new ventures that you have for 2022 and beyond. Really excited to see how everybody is going to grow. And we hope to support you in that. And I'll throw it back to Celine.
Thank you very much, Joanna, and thank you, everybody. Do you have any questions for us? Or if you have any questions and you're watching this replay, you can put them in the comments underneath the video, or you can send us a message in social media or by email. We are having a website that's coming soon, so you will be able also to reach us easier with the website, or we are on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook here at Retrouv'I. So you can reach out to us whenever you want, and we hope that you enjoy this part 2 of the summit. There's the replay of part 1 that is available as well if you missed it. there's a workbook that's going with the summit. So again, if you didn't receive it, just let us know and we'll be happy to send it to you. And we hope that we'll be able to work with you and help you through your journey into being the best version of yourself in 2022. Thank you very much, everybody. See you soon. Bye. Thank you.